This is the Sober Boozers Club podcast.
Welcome everybody to the Sober Boozers Club podcast. My name is Ben Gibbs. I'm an alcoholic and I've been sober since January 2022. In that time, I have been navigating the world of alcohol-free beers, sampling some of the best that the world has to offer. In this podcast, we're going to talk to people from within these circles and find out a little bit about their journey. So you sit back, relax, and enjoy. Today's guest is special because he is basically the American version of me, except for he is significantly younger and probably a lot better at social media. I'm talking to the chap known as the N.A. Brewskey, who runs the N.A. Beer Club over in the States. You know, like the AF Beer Club, but all American. Anyway, we thought we should probably have a chat. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. The time difference is wild. This might be my biggest, time difference yet, I think, in terms of time zones. Oh, we had Mr. Reduceaholic on recently. I think he's like an hour before you, an hour, is there something? I know this is the latest I've been up to do one of these, so it's nice, actually. Feels like a nice relaxing end to my day.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I always forget that. I always forget that people have different time zones and stuff. And when I'm, emailing or DMing or texting, it's always I send a message and it's 10 p.m. for me, but for them it's a.m. and I have to wait to hear back.
Yeah, I get that with the NA group chat. I wake up and it's like, wow, this has popped off over, and it's like, wait, no, it's just like normal talking for normal people over that side of the sea. So yeah. That's the shackles that we are bound by with this global beer industry that we find ourselves in. You have been championing NA. We're going to call it NA because I'm going to be polite instead of AF. You've been championing NA beer for quite some time now. How did it all begin for you? Were you always aware of alcohol-free beer as an option, or was it something that has always interested you, or was it something that you kind of stumbled upon?
So to be quite honest, I actually haven't even been drinking beer that long. I'm 25, so I didn't even start drinking beer until college, after 21, of course. So I really liked craft beer. I was really getting into it during college, and I joined a frat, and then you know how that story goes. And basically, when I stopped drinking, I discovered non-alcoholic beer, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, because, when I stopped drinking, I didn't want, craft beer was kind of my whole thing. I was the craft beer guy. So I didn't want to, lose that identity. It felt like I was kind of losing a community, because I really liked craft beer. I love the community. I love the styles. I love the colors and the beer head and everything involved in it. But when I stopped drinking, when I discovered non-alcoholic beer, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And for the next, year or so, I was really getting into it. I started discovering new options, and I kind of just felt like this is something everyone needs to know about, because it's an option there. And granted, it's a lot harder to kind of sell it to typical craft beer lovers, because I know myself, and if I would have been brought non-alcoholic beer when I was mid-drinking, I would have probably laughed it out of the room, and that's what's the point, you know what I mean? So I kind of get when people say that, but I just feel there are definitely people out there who have gone through what I went through and are going through different experiences, and just having it accessible is something that I hope to continue to do. I wanted to make it as accessible as possible.
How long ago was it that you stopped drinking and switched to alcohol free? How many years are we talking here?
2023 in February. So I'd been really only drinking craft beer since 2018 maybe. So I only had 5 years under my belt.
That's a young age, though.
5 years.
That's a young age, though, to decide to stop drinking and to then make that kind of lifestyle choice to go, actually, I really enjoy this, and I'm going to pursue it in other ways, hence alcohol-free beer. But, it's a pretty early age to think, actually, no, this isn't serving me, alcohol. I'm going to stop doing it, especially if you've gotten into beer. It took me fucking too many years to decide to stop drinking alcohol beer. So, like, fair play to you for that. Like, that's a big decision to make at a young age.
Yeah, people say that, but it's also like I feel like it was easier for me to do that than it is for somebody who's been drinking beer for 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like it's it sounds like wow, that's really impressive, but again, I didn't really have that many years under my belt. So for me, it was like, realistically, there's no difference between non-alcoholic beer and alcoholic beer because the only difference is the alcohol, and I don't want the alcohol. So it just felt like a natural progression. Yeah, there's really no change here. It didn't feel like a big change. You know what I mean? Because I'd only been drinking for less than, a fifth of my life. So
Yeah, when you put it
realistically,
like that,
yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. Like, I think there's a stereotypical view of someone that decides to stop drinking alcohol for whatever reason, like not necessarily for alcoholism, but for any form of lifestyle choice. You say, "Oh, I've decided to stop drinking," and you think of somebody sipping something from a brown paper bag, with really scruffy clothes and doesn't really have their shit together. And I think there is a stigma attached to the act of not drinking that is it's a little bit dated, to be honest. Especially I think when you go into this world and you start meeting people from all walks of life that are enjoying living alcohol free, be that from time to time or be that all the time, you kind of go, oh, actually, there's a whole spectrum here of people that are not drinking for whatever reason. And of course, alcohol-free beer, which is what we're here to talk about, kind of allows people to live their lives without missing out on things that they enjoy. And I think that's a wonderful thing. What was the NA beer scene like in the States in 2023 when you stopped drinking alcohol and switched to NA beers?
I mean, it was still growing. I mean, Athletic was everywhere. At the time, Bravus was everywhere. It was Athletic, Bravus, Well-Being. No, I don't know if you know what. I know you know Athletic, but I don't know if you know the other ones.
I know of them. I think I've had a Bravus. I feel like George sent me one from Mash Gang, but I might have that wrong. It might have been someone else. Someone has sent me one before.
Yeah, it was like those at the time that I knew of. And then, Guinness Zero was everywhere. Heineken Zero has been everywhere for
Too long.
time. I've essentially seen the explosion of non-alcoholic craft beer from my time to starting to drink it to now. Like, I've witnessed the entire thing. So I'm very lucky that I got in when I did. Because it's not only allowed me to explore new options every single day, but it's allowed me to be like one of those people that is really trying to push that new stuff to people. Mm-hmm. It's not me kind of catching up. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it relatively was like pretty, unheard of, unappreciated. I started doing events last year. And at the events, back in, when I did the German beer fest, it was earlier in the year, and people just did not appreciate it, nor like it, nor find it to be interesting or be seeking it out. And then same thing with like the Philly Beer Fest. And then I went to the same events a year later, and like everyone is interested in drinking it, seeking it out. All of the other vendors, like the alcoholic craft brewery vendors, are coming to us to drink during the festivals. Mm-hmm. So it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, wow, what a change. So it was relatively new. People didn't know about it. We were also just coming out of COVID. So realistically, I think that had a ton to do with the global shift sort of away from alcohol, because I don't know what everyone else did, but that's all I did was drink. There was nothing else to do. It was, what are we doing tonight? Well, what do you think we're doing tonight? There's nothing else to do. And and then after COVID, it was like, all right, time to get back to reality. Wow. Now I've, gained a ton of weight. I can only think of drinking. I don't have any personality. I don't have any, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but this is kind of how I felt. And I know a lot of people around me felt, is that we just lost ourselves. I lost myself with alcohol. That's what happened. And everyone's different. Everyone can some people can moderate and some people can't. And but also, in general, it's just I'm not anti-alcohol or anything, but I personally believe society would be a little better off if it wasn't shoved down our throats all the time. People can drink it, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere in ads, in commercials, in at the bar, every single napkin dispenser and holder, and and bottle openers branded. And it's just crazy how it's so ingrained in what we do.
You don't realize, do you, until you kind of start to take stock of it. And then you think back to what big tobacco was like years and years ago. And then you see the similarities with big alcohol. And like, the thing I don't understand is like big alcohol owning alcohol awareness charities. It's like, what? This is no one seeing this? Because, you know, I'm very much the same. I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm pro-beer in all forms of beer. Like, there's a big campaign going at the moment to make cask beer in the UK like a living heritage. I think that absolutely should be, because I think it's really important. Like, I think beer and alcohol are wonderful for people that can enjoy them safely. I just can't do that. And there's a lot of people that can't, and there's a lot of people that would really benefit from it not being such a pivotal part of society. And I feel like people don't want alcohol as much as they're led to believe that they do. I think we're seeing with the improving options that are available, people are going for them. When you start looking at the alcohol-free taps in pubs and you start taking notice of them, you see more and more people going up and having an alcohol-free beer. And it's like, okay, people are drinking this. And it's people you wouldn't expect to drink it. So there is a demand there, which has been really interesting to see. Like, similar to you, I kind of have grown into my sobriety as the kind of boom of alcohol-free beer has taken place in the UK. So it's like, I got very lucky. I got on the bus just as it was leaving the station, you know. I didn't have to live through the days of Beck's Blue or nothing. I was kind of, Mash Gang were already starting to do things over here. And you know, yeah, literally. So it was like, oh, it's a good time to stop drinking, but just purely coincidental. But, you know, it's been very fortunate. And it's nice to see this community of commentators kind of grow year on year, like new people coming into the fold and talking about alcohol-free beer, and the people that you meet in doing it. I mean, you're all over the place. You do so many events and things. How did that all start for you? Was it just through sheer persistence, like myself?
Yeah, what, like events and stuff? Yeah, I mean, persistence. You know, it's actually very funny. I keep an email in my drafts always, and that email was the first email I ever wanted to send to a brand asking if I could rep them in Philadelphia. And I never sent the email because I didn't know. I kind of got, I don't know what happened. I just kind of felt weird about it, didn't know if it was going to work, and just never sent it. I did get reached out to by somebody named, her name's Heather Ransom, and she runs a company called Zero Proof Go, which is essentially like non-alcoholic consulting and like events, activations and stuff like that. And she asked me if I wanted to come do the Philly Beer Fest, the German Beer Fest with her. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we went. And then I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so I started doing local bottle shop events. I would just take, you know, a 6-pack of different beers that I had either been sent or like I bought, and just wanted to set up like little activations. And I essentially had the bottle shop like pay me to do it, but it was like, you know, it was a very small amount. And then I would also do other events for like free and stuff. I mean, I just wanted to really get out there. But then Go Brewing reached out to me and was like, hey, we're, you know, launching this sort of like retail ambassador position. It's where you can essentially like place product and get paid for it. And then also like you can complement that sales stuff with events. And I was like, cool. And I tried to do some sales stuff. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a marketer. So it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't like good at it or anything. I just didn't really make the time to do it because in my mind, it was like, I'm not going to go spend 5 hours in the city bringing samples, talking to bar managers that don't want to talk to me. Like, it just didn't appeal to me. But I did like start talking to a few places that were like interested in events, and a couple festivals came up, and I started doing those because Go really like was interested in getting to the events with like distributors at it or like other retailers that we could place product at. So it kind of like went hand in hand. And then I just like really loved the events so much and was getting such positive feedback and was so tuned into what events are going on and when, that they essentially just said, you know, run with it. Just do the events, send us what you're interested in doing, go do it. They set me up with like a sales guy who was going to like place product and then also complement that and send me over to do events. So that kind of happened. And then I got reached out to by my friend John, who runs Nation Beer. You know him. And he's doing like he has a company that he connects brands that are looking for activators. and people that are willing to activate. And he set me up with All the Bitter, which is a non-alcoholic cocktail bitters. And essentially, like, he wanted me to do samplings, but I was like, I'm kind of the beer guy. You know what I mean? Can I do it with beer? And, they were like, well, we usually use sparkling water because we don't want the bitters to be out flavored and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'll still do it. I want the experience, but I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing. I then talked to Ian Blessing of All the Bitter. He's an awesome guy, by the way. And he basically said, like, you know what? Like, let's do it. Let's try the beer. And I was like, yes, awesome. So now I have an event series that I do at all the local bottle shops. It's like a rotating. So every month, it's once a month at the different bottle shops around me that I pair bitters and beer. And it actually worked so well. Like, the first event that I did, we sold almost the entire stock at the store. And it was like, wow, I didn't expect this. I wasn't trying to sell it. I was just trying to sample it. So that really like showed me that there's a way to uniquely position anything if it relates back to my brand and have the passion from what I do come out in everything. Like, getting unique ideas around my brand is like a great way to sort of push product, which isn't the end goal, but like just generally raise awareness for the scene. So that was cool. So I just started doing that. And then, I've just done a ton of stuff with Go. I do have some events going up where I'm kind of repping my own brand and just getting a lineup. It's allowed me to, like, it's not all about the money, but it's allowed me to like invest a lot more in myself, like making some money off of this. And then also allow me to host events, on my own for free, just because I'd love to do awareness stuff. That's the end goal of it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's nice to be able to earn from it, because it's kind of, to talk about alcohol-free beer consistently, you have to buy a lot of alcohol-free beer, because that is the downside of the kind of boom that we're experiencing. Is it seems like every other week there's a new beer, and it's like, you've got to buy all of that, and then quite often you've got to buy 6-packs or 4-packs. You can't just buy a single can because that doesn't justify the shipping. So it's kind of like, to get a little bit back, it's like, okay, well, this is going into beer primarily, and other things, because it is, you get into it to raise awareness, but it's like, you can't do that for free, which really sucks, but it just is, it's just the way of the world, isn't it? So, and it's also nice to be able to earn just doing something that you love and that you're really into. Yeah. Like, I can tell just talking to you, you got the bug really early on for it. Like, you wouldn't be doing all of this shit if not.
Exactly. And one of the cool things too is, I don't know if you know this, tiny little plug here, but I'm working with NA Beer Club. I know you work with AF Beer Club, so kind of similarities there. But we're launching like a marketplace soon where, the normal thing is like, it's a monthly subscription that you just get like 10, or you get 5 pairs of non-alcoholic beer, like random, and you don't know. But like, what we're now launching is a marketplace where you can build your own like 12-pack of single beers. So you can get 12 single beers. And kind of our model that I'm trying to work on right now is sort of, utilize this community of like influencers and creators and like offer them a way to, keep their content up with, 12 new beers a month without having to like spend all this money, discounts and affiliate codes and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to get that together, but that's, I saw the problem for myself. How am I going to keep this up? So that's like, I'm trying to, inject something into the community that allows that.
Another builder box. Like, if I find a site with a builder box, it's like, yes, thank you so much. It's music to my ears. The difficulty is with the builder boxes, often in the UK, you've got websites that have like a really good core range, like wholesalers that just sell alcohol-free beer, not like breweries and etc. And like their range is really good. But like, if you've got a new beer that's just been released and you're someone like me, I'm like, I'm buying this right now. Like right now, I'm buying this. Like a brewery, Below Brew Co. over here just dropped a new beer. And I was like, I could wait for like a couple of weeks and it'll be on one of these websites and I'll be able to put it in a random box. But like, no, I just ordered a fucking 6-pack because of course I did, because I've got to be addicted to something, right? But I was going to get on to the NA Beer Club. Like, how did that all come around? Because you click on your profile URL on Instagram, and it's like, fucking hell, like, what aren't you doing at the moment? Which is great. Like, I'm here for it, man. But like, my God, you must be stretched.
Yeah, honestly, I've subscribed myself to the life that I'd rather be exhausted than depressed. And I know how that sounds. And it's like, I do find that if I keep myself busy, there's really no time to get in my own head about things, which, it also leads to burnout occasionally. You know what I mean? Your body will take the rest it needs, but that's something that I'm always trying to, work on. But yeah, NA Beer Club, essentially I knew Mark, who owns NA Beer Club, through like the chats or whatever when we started that chat. I'd been talking to him for a while, and I do social media. I mean, I do marketing for a living, so social media is sort of one of my strong suits. So he reached out and he's like, "Hey, like, would you be interested in managing my socials?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So signed on to a contract, kept that updated, and then he sort of moved me towards. He's like, "Hey, like, I'm actually going to move you like to blog posting and like website admin, because that's kind of where the money comes in. The 95% of the income comes in." And then, we're working on right now. I would love to, I might be, helping kind of take over some of the business, get some equity in it and launch. And I'm, partnering him to launch the marketplace. So like the marketplace is my baby. He's helping, he's doing the setup with the website and stuff like that, but I'm handling like all of the marketing and stuff like that. So it's given me, it's a really awesome experience to like launch something so big and like, build a business, even though any Brewskey is kind of a business, but it's not, I'm more of just an individual there. So that's kind of how that came about. How did it come about with the AF Beer Club for you?
Someone left. It's as simple as that. Mine was really so I was just talking about alcohol-free beer on Instagram. I mean, my page started as like a sobriety awareness page, really. The reason I set it up was partially to connect with people that looked like me that were sober, because I didn't know anybody that looked like me and was like in there. Well, I just turned 30, or I was on the cusp of turning 30 when I got sober. And it was like, I went to a few like AA meetings and they just weren't for me. It was like, this is lovely and I'm really glad this exists, but this isn't my tribe. I was like, there must be people that are like, younger and like kind of into the things that I'm into that are also going on this journey. So I was like, where can I Instagram, that'll be the place. So I found a few like sober accounts on Instagram, and alcohol-free beer had been something that I'd been using it when I was trying to pretend that I was moderating to people back when I was in like my denial phase. It was like, oh no, look, I'm on alcohol-free tonight, but then I'd go out and get really fucked up afterwards. And I kind of thought, right, let's try that again. Like, that'll be good. This is how little I knew about alcohol-free beer. I thought that the 0.5% was enough to give me just to take the edge off, which is absolute bollocks. But that's what I thought at the time. I knew nothing. So set up the page, found some, like Martin Dixon, Alcohol Free World. He was the first person that I came across. And another guy who had a website, and I can't remember their name because they're not very active anymore. And that's awful of me. But I found these two accounts and just started talking about beer. And it kind of went from there, really. Got to know people, and people seemed to enjoy the videos I was doing for whatever reason. So then with the Alcohol-Free Beer Club, Robin was the guy who set it up. And he teamed up with Wise Bartender, who are a kind of wholesale supplier of alcohol-free beers to customers, to consumers. But they do a lot of distribution for breweries as well. He set up like a thing with them where they basically took care of the distribution, the website handling, all of that business. And then he decided to stop doing it. I've got no idea why, but it was just too much for him. So he stepped down, and they asked people to put videos in to kind of pitch why they should do it.
I remember that.
And I only found out about this because about 6 or 7 people tagged me in the post and said, "This, you should do this." I was like, oh yeah, shit, I probably should. Like, I do that anyway. Like, these videos, like, exactly. It's just what I'm doing. So yeah, we'll do that. And then it went to like a public vote, and I was like, what the fuck is this about? And it was me and someone called Abby, and she is Brew Forecast on Instagram, and she was similar. I don't really know her, but I know of her. She stopped drinking alcohol a little while back. I don't know if it was just for a little while or if it was full time, but switched to kind of talking about alcohol-free beers. And we were kind of neck and neck for a while. And then someone that I work with, because I work in shopping TV for context, like QVC style stuff, one of the presenters at work mentioned it on air and said, "Oh, Ben's in this competition." And like about 2,000 people came in and voted for it. And it was just like, shit. So it was, I don't know if I would have won. I don't know. I've got no idea. But I hate those competitions. Like, I shouldn't really be saying this because I'm still working for them, but I hate them because it just becomes like messaging people, getting people to vote.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this reminds me of being in Battle of the Bands at high school. Like, it's that kind of level. And I was like, I don't really want to do this, like this whole competition thing. But then it was like, but it would be really cool to do the beer club. Like, it felt like a real win to be recognized for it, you know. That was a really fucking long story and it didn't need to be. But yeah, that's how it happened with me.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's cool to just be able to be like, oh, I've given X amount of people these beers this month. And when people love them, it's like, oh, cool. Nice. Like, if for nothing else, it solidifies the belief I have that alcohol-free beer is really good. Because there still are people that think it's shit, which is like, I don't understand how we solve that. I don't know if it's just time and availability. Yeah, it's a shame, really.
I think people will think what they want. And you're right about, like, when I see at a beer festival, I clearly see somebody who's like, you can kind of tell who's like really into craft. Like, they're just like, it's craft. And then they come up and they're like, that's pretty good. It's like, yeah, it is, isn't it? That's awesome. Like, you know, and it's kind of like, and then they move on and it's like, cool.
Yeah. There was a real turning point for me, like last year, so 2024, I suddenly found a lot of like real beer people following me, like proper beer accounts, people like Grizzly Beers, and we've got the Salford Cans Club in the UK, and people like that were following me and actually talking to me and being like, oh, what ones would you recommend, or sharing pictures of beers and being like, this is really good. And that's when in my brain I kind of went, right, all right, we're making moves here. Like the industry as a whole, I've done fuck all, you know, but alcohol-free beer is doing things compared to like the first multi-pack I ever got. Be interested to know actually, do you remember the first NA beer that you had, like either when you were drinking alcohol and then after you decided to stop drinking alcohol? What was it for you and what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I actually always attribute my first non-alcoholic beer to the Athletic All Out Stout. However, when I started to really think about it, when I was in my fraternity, Beta Theta Pi, I actually had two littles. I don't know if you know how frat culture works, but you get like you have a big who's like kind of your mentor, and then you have a little who's like you mentor them.
Okay, I've never heard of that, even in the films.
So like I actually had two littles, and my second little was Muslim. So when we were taking a day trip up to New York just to go see a comedy show and just to hang out, when I found out that he couldn't drink alcohol, I actually went and bought him a 6-pack of Budweiser Zero in the bottles. And when we actually got to New York, he found out that he actually couldn't drink them because they do have a little bit of alcohol in them. And so me and my buddy just drank them on the steps at New York. And yeah, that was it. I was like, no, this isn't that bad. I didn't really think anything else of it until I made the decision to stop drinking fully. And then I went to Monk's Cafe in Philly and I had a couple beers. And one of them was the first one was the Athletic All Out Stout. And I was like, wow, this is pretty good. So, yeah.
Wow. And then since then, hundreds and hundreds of beers.
Yeah.
Presumably. Like, it's a new one every day, pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It is, and to go back to your point about like having to buy stuff all the time, I consider myself a little bit fortunate in that because there's so many brands coming out and because I'm like sort of more well-known in the industry now, I have brands always hitting me up to send me product. Even like the brands I've worked with in the past, they'll put a new beer out and they'll send me new ones. So I've been fortunate enough that I haven't had to pay for too much, which is why I like to that also offers me the ability to, if I like need an extra brand for like an event, I'm not, most of the time I'll hit up a brand and I'll ask them if they want to send samples for the event, but then I'll just grab like a 6-pack that I have off the shelf that somebody sent me a little bit ago, and I'll just bring that to the event. So I try to and anytime I do have product that goes out of date more than I would like it to. So whenever that happens, when I know it's like coming up on like, it's always safe, but when it's coming up on like, all right, I should really kind of either drink this or get rid of it, I always hit up my community and I'm like, hey, I'm in Philly. Like, I'll either be around, I can drop stuff off, or you can come pick it up. I try to give out as much as I possibly can because I don't want to see it go to waste.
Yeah, my friends send me like pictures of their fridges full of my like hand-me-downs.
Yeah,
it's like I mean, I love it. I love it when people send stuff. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like, shit, there's 32 cans here.
Yeah,
I've already got 40 cans plus. And then I've got to talk about these ones. I mean, I feel like if breweries send me something, then it's like, okay, I want to push that to the top of the pile. But like, I found a video a couple of weeks ago of like a brewery that sent me beer like 6 months ago. And I was like, fuck, I forgot about that. Fuck, I felt so bad. Like, I messaged her and I was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I really enjoyed it, but it's just been in my phone. Because it is like, I mean, it's, my recycling bin, it's like, I've got really good at flat packing boxes, because it's like, I'll buy stuff and then I'll forget that I've got brands sending me stuff. And it's like, oh, I didn't need to. Like, it's wonderful. It's great. But, it's good marketing for these breweries. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, want us to talk about your thing, like, send it. That'll be lovely. Yeah. I saw an interesting thing recently about brands starting to now, like, not give opportunities, like partnership opportunities, to people that are sober, even with like alcohol-free products. There was someone that was rejected from an opportunity because they were sober, because this brand was worried that it kind of narrows the potential of their product. That I thought was just really backwards. It's like, oh, we're going to sell this vegan cheese, but we're not going to let vegans talk about it. We're going to let like just like meat eaters or vegetarians talk about it instead. It was like, what? I didn't understand that, but it's kind of like, it backs up a little theory that I got, that as the alcohol-free market continues to grow, it's actually going to kind of restrict itself at the same time. Because I think there's going to be 5 or 6 real winners from this, like in terms of breweries that are going to do really well, and they're just going to be everywhere. And I think in time, there's a potential that like the smaller breweries are just not going to be around and doing it anymore, which is scary. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just kind of a theory I've got because everything is terrible in my pessimistic outlook of life. But I'm seeing it over here in bars. It's like, oh, cool, these guys do like alcohol-free stuff. That's awesome. That's awesome. And even now, like the stuff on tap that they used to do is like they still have a tap, but it's like a slightly worse beer than it was a year ago. And it's like, oh, okay, it's cheaper. I know that's cheaper. That's why you're doing it. So it's like, that's something that scares me.
No, you're right. And it's definitely not, I mean, it's a well thought out theory. And I think we're going to see that because, I've been saying this for a while. It's inherently what we do. You're right. The harder we promote it and the more people that sign on to it, the less people that are drinking craft beer in the first place, which inherently, like, the entire NA industry is built off of the alcohol industry. That's just a fact. So, and most people that drink non-alcoholic beer, I would say at least 95% and more, drank alcoholic beer. Like, it's not just, it's an acquired taste. It's not just something you jump right into and you have a non-alcoholic beer and it's like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Chances are you're just not going to drink beer. So the more that the new generations don't get into alcohol, then inherently they won't transition to non-alcoholic stuff unless they're like one of those people that are looking for a way to fit in. But if their entire friend group is not drinking, then there's no point really for them to drink it. I mean, THC beverages, hemp derived THC beverages are going to be, as everyone says, like they're going to be the next alcohol almost because they're still functional and they still provides intoxicating effects, which is also why that I'm getting into that industry too. But yeah, you're right. Inherently, like the more that I promote it, the less people in the future that would be more interested in it. So it's like, yeah, it's sort of self cannibalizing in a way.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you. And shelf space. Shelf space is a huge thing too. Like, there's no more shelf space at these big chains. Total Wine and More, they have a whole aisle to it, and they're not going to dedicate anymore. The brands that are good are going to stay, and the brands that aren't good are going to be replaced by new brands. So, yeah, you're right. Little breweries and small breweries and brewers with not a lot of capital, they're not going to be around very, very much.
Yeah, and it's sad because there's a lot of absolute bangers that are out there. But it's like, if I could get this at like my supermarket, I'd drink this every day of the week. And it's just the nature of the world, isn't it? That's just economics, which is a whole other thing, especially at the moment. My God, things are about to get a lot more expensive in terms of getting beer from places. Like, I've been trying to figure out a way to get a steady flow of US beer over here. I've just kind of gone, all right, I'm just going to stop thinking about that now.
Yeah.
Because I'll just depress myself. It's sad. I had a beer today from that someone brought me back from Japan. It was Asahi Beery, it was called. I was like, that's a fucking weird name, Beery. When I drank it, I was like, it's really like beery. It was incredible. It's it might be the best lager I've ever drank.
Wow.
And instantly I was like, right, where can I get this? And I was like, oh no, I can't. I physically can't. Even if I want to pay like hundreds and hundreds of pounds in postage, I physically can't get it. Like, it's just not doable. It was ridiculous.
And you said that's in America?
No, from Japan this one was. But I mean,
oh yeah, I see that. It's interesting because I know the Asahi Dry Zero is over here, which is actually pretty good.
Yes, we've got that, and it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's one of these. I've had a bottle of that in my fridge for about 6 months. But I'm like, yeah, I'll have that one day. Like, because it's fine. It's good. It's actually good. But it's just it's not new. You know, that's the issue.
Novelty, exactly. Novelty is huge. It's like, yeah, I have all these beers in my fridge, and there's beers from months ago, and it's like, yeah, but I just got this new stuff in, so I'm going to drink this.
Yeah. But then I find that some of the beers that I enjoy the most are supermarket beers now, because it's just a beer that I can just have for myself. Like, I'll open a can and just I can sit on my sofa and be like, I'm just drinking this. I'm not filming a video. I'm not like posting a picture. I'm just drinking this for the sake of having a beer, and I don't feel guilty that I'm like wasting good liquid by not talking about it online. It's like, oh no, this is just for me. So like a shit beer becomes a really good beer, which is, that's inherently a part of the enjoyment of beer, isn't it? It's like the dopamine release when it's the anticipation of pleasure from when you open the can to when you like get the aroma before you drink it. It's like, I am experiencing pleasure right now. That is what I'm supposed to be experiencing, and that is what it's providing. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, dude, you make a great point, because I struggle with this too, is that I have tons of beers that I'm like, I can't open this because it's the only one I have. Yep. And I know for a fact if I want to make content about it, I'm going to be upset that I didn't post it. And it's like, it's always that where my fridge is just full of like beers that I'm like, I actually have two fridges. I have one right over here, which my place is a little bit of a mess, but I'm going to show you anyway. I have a beer fridge just dedicated to like the beers that I need for content.
Yep.
And then I have another fridge, my normal fridge, my big fridge, that has all the food and stuff. And
that's my exact setup. Like, I've got the beer fridge and I've got the food fridge, and the beers then spill into the food fridge. And it's like, shit, like the top shelf of my food fridge is just beer, but then occasionally like there's a little box that just like creeps into like next to the lettuce, and it's like, no one will see, it'll be fine. And then
I have a drawer at the bottom of the big beer fridge that's only like, that one's like only single cans of like stuff that I can't. So I have like, it's like weird. I have things that I can't drink in there and things that I can't drink in here, and some things I can drink in here and can drink. It's just like there's no method to it.
No.
And then
you're just relying on your own memory. And then I have to separate like the beer club beers, because I get sent the beers for the beer club from Wise Bartender. So I put those in the content fridge in the bottom left-hand corner. And I hope that those beers aren't going to get cross-contaminated. Or if I get home and like some of the beers have been put away and they've been put into the content fridge, I'm like, no, that's not a content beer. I've drank this beer before. It's like, what the fuck? Like, am I accidentally going to film a video for Lucky Saint? And you're like, oh, what's this? Like, my God. But then I am awful. Like, just today I put a video up for, I can't even remember the name of them now, Dublin-based brewery. And I'd met them at BeerX like 2 weeks ago. Whiplash, that's the brewery. And I put a video up today being like, oh, this is a beer I haven't come across before from Whiplash, Dublin, etc. Did the whole drinky, yeah, it's nice. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but you're here anyway. God knows why. And then I got a message from one of the guys from Whiplash. He's like, yeah, we met at BeerX a couple of weeks ago. I was like, fuck, we did. I knew that the name Whiplash meant more to me than just a can of beer. But it's like there's just so many beers in my head that like it's weird for how you can retain, like you'll see a can, you'll be like, yeah, I had that 2 years ago. I can remember that one. And it's weird that sticks with you. Like, have you ever had any accidental duplicates or where you've been like, I can't remember if I ever drank this before? Or is it similar to you? Do you like recognize them just from sight?
I'm pretty good at it, but I did have once where I posted the exact same, like I posted the same post with the different caption because it was like I had it in my content is a mess. Like I try as hard as I can to like sort it in different things, but I don't just do any Brewskey or any beer club. Like I do other content for other brands and shit. So my content's a mess. So I actually posted the same thing twice. And then I was like, wait a minute, I swear I posted this before. And I looked back a few weeks and it was like, crap, it's the same exact picture.
I had a beer once, but it was a limited edition, like collab beer with alcohol-free bar and brewery. And it was really good. It was like a fruity, like hibiscus sour. And I filmed it, drank it, really loved it, and then let it go into the ether. Kept it on my phone in my little edited folder on my phone. Went to post it like a couple of months later thinking, I should put that out. Couldn't find the video for the life of me. I was like, where the fuck has this video gone? I definitely filmed it. I really wanted to talk about it because the bar were really cool. I really liked what they were doing. So I imported a can of it from Europe that cost a fortune to film a video again.
No.
2 weeks later, I found the old video and was like... And the old video was better than the new one I did. And it was just like, cool, like fantastic. Like they weren't even making the beer by the time that this had all finished. It was just fucking ridiculous. But that's the problem with limited edition beers. Like you got to keep up with them. Like, because a lot of these things are limited edition. And it's, I don't know if you guys have that, if it's more limited edition than core range. And it's kind of catch them while you can.
It's a mix. I mean, the limited editions are really nice, but that's the thing also, like, I don't know. It's both, but I did have a similar experience where actually this just happened because because I transfer, because the iPhone doesn't have a lot of storage. So like, I transferred everything over to like Google Photos and then I would delete everything off the main thing. But like one of the videos didn't, it was literally for like a collaboration with, it's actually called Draft Top. I don't know if you've heard of this. This is going to be the ad for Draft Top right now. It's this device.
Yes.
Yeah. You take the can, the top of the can off. And basically like I filmed the video and I had it all ready to edit and everything. And I just lost it. It was just gone. So I DM'd them and I was like, screwed up. So I'm going to film another video and we're going to collaborate this Saturday on it. Because I've been using Draft Top for years, actually. I had the old ones. I have like 4 different kinds. And they released the new one. So which like also takes the top off for you. Not just like, like open. So usually, since this is an open can already, it's actually kind of hard to get the top off with it. But like a non-open can, this one just lifts it right off.
Yeah. Well, you've got more density, haven't you, in a full can? It's like,
but it's pretty cool. I use it to make candles. Like I'll take the top off, make a candle out of it. But you'll see that in the video Saturday.
I will keep my eyes peeled. So we've been going for like nearly an hour and we haven't mentioned, which is awful, any fucking breweries that are in the States. Which is, I mean, it's a sin, really. So, who should people be looking out for if they are in the States or if they're planning on visiting anytime soon? Who are you going to make me jealous with?
Well, honestly, one of my favorite brands, the brands that I actually represent, is called Go Brewing.
Uh-huh.
And I love them. Not only their core range is fantastic, they have. I'll just pull out some of these beers here. Like their core range versus the Pilsner. I mean, look at that can, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's like an astronaut. Their Street Cred, which is like pretty cool. The Porter, tropical IPA. Their can art's awesome. That's their core range. Well, this one's technically not core, but then they also release these limiteds. Like this one, the Banana Pancake Porter.
Yes, I've seen that online, and I'm like,
unreal.
Fuck
like
you guys for having that.
It's when I tell you this is an unreal beer, like this is. They put like so much banana and maple syrup in this. It's incredible. Or like their Irish Red. Like I love this can. Stuff like this. Like I think Go is probably the best, one of the best on the market, one of the most consistent. You also have like Mash Gang over here. I mean, you guys have Mash Gang. Thank you for that, by the way.
You're most welcome.
Sending them over here. And then Best Day, which I have on and I'm also drinking.
Nice.
Their Kolsch is probably my favorite non-alcoholic beer on the market. It's super beery. I love Kolsch. It's got a lot of flavor and it's simple and it's not, 55 calories. There's nothing like crazy about it. And that's like that's the point. I can drink it whenever.
I think Best Day have already nailed their whole brand identity as well. Like they were possibly the first brewery that I found based off like an Instagram ad.
Really?
And I was like, oh, these guys, this looks really cool. I want this. Clicked through, and it's like, America, great. But like, I don't know, just something about the the can artwork. It's just so pleasant. Like the aesthetic is really lovely. I think it's.
That's the funny part is that I saw this at the supermarket a lot for a long time, and I never got it because I didn't like the can art. I was like, comparatively to like things like Go Brewing or like Well-Being, which is also their amber is fantastic. This is one of the best beers on the market. Compared to this stuff, like it's boring, right?
I just think it's clean and lovely.
I love how soft the whatever I'm actually colorblind, so I think this is orange. The orange, like this feels super soft to the eye. So I do love that. But like, I think I saw like the West Coast on there or whatever, and it just didn't appeal to me. But then they actually reached out to me and were like, hey, we want to send you some stuff. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then it quickly became one of my favorite breweries. And I like that they're like limited, like this Galaxy Ripple, probably one of the best IPAs I've ever had in my life, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. It's like I love it. So, definitely the Well-Being, I don't love. I tried their Victory Wheat. I didn't love it. It has electrolytes in it. I know a lot of people like it, but their amber is really, really good. I mean, Athletic, I don't, their core lineup's all right and it's good, but they have some really, really good like pilot stuff. Like the triple hopped IPA, which is pretty good. They've had like a Marion berry one that's really good. I've had the Belt.
I sent a black IPA by Athletic once.
I didn't think
I think that was a pilot one. That was good, but very out of date when I drank it.
Honestly, I've had a lot of out of date non-alcoholic beers, and most of them are fine. Yeah, they're just a little not. They don't taste like they're originally supposed to taste, but like they've never hurt me. They don't taste like super off. I've had a couple that maybe it was just like, all right, yeah, I got to dump this, but most of the time it's actually pretty. It's not bad. Yeah,
it's like if the can explodes and then your hand smells like a brewery afterwards, then kind of leave that alone. Yeah. That's my kind of rule. But exactly. I wasn't even checking sell by dates for the first 2 years. I've only started to check recently, just out of interest. I do think that pasteurization should be labelled, just so that people can make conscious choices.
Me too. I agree.
I had a brand, and I won't mention their name because they're very fresh and they're learning. But I had a brand send me beer not long ago, and it took me ages to get is it pasteurized out of them? I need to know, because I need to know if I need to put this in my fridge or if I need to put it like in the cupboard with all of the other like packages I've got. It's like, I think that it's like the education around it, because a lot of people don't know anything about like why pasteurization is important with alcohol free. I don't think it's essential. You know, Mash Gang didn't pasteurize for years, and the liquid was fine. But I think it's something that people can make informed decisions when they know, you know. So, but I haven't had many bad beers.
Sorry,
Nice.
I got it all.
Yeah, it's clean.
I agree with the. This is just great liquid here. Smells banana. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There should be more pasteurization, but I actually understand it's expensive. When I went to Go last week, flew out to Chicago, and their pasteurization machines are insane.
Yeah, like I was at BeerX in Liverpool where I met the Dublin people that I then forgot about, and like just walking around like the pasteurization units, like this is like Christmas. Yeah, that just looks delicious.
There's your thumbnail. You crying?
Yeah, it's the worst thing about being on the internet is seeing beers that are like, I wish that was here. Like there's One Drop in Australia as well. They do some insane beers. I've had one of their beers. It was a collab with Trent at Mash Gang Australia, and he sent me all of their beers, and one of them was a One Drop collab. It was a biscotti stout, and it was just like,
oof.
It was so good. But do you get that with any beers like in the UK? Are there any that you're like, shit, I wish that was here?
I mean, a lot of the Mash Gang ones, you know, we only have a few that are, you know, I don't know what their thought process is, but I know a lot of stuff doesn't sell here. So they're like current lineup. I mean, they have that like chocolate strawberry stout, and they have
the cherry chocolate.
Yeah, the cherry chocolate. And then, you know, but when what's it called? Bendición Bottle Shop in Chicago, she used to get them imported, the Mash Gang stuff, and that was like, you know, you got the like mango marshmallow moon milk and like
yeah
stuff like that. And like there was just a bunch of different stuff that was like, you know, I wish they could make more of that stuff here, but I understand it doesn't sell right now. But I also do get, I mean, the under 0.5 shop, I guess they're Swedish, maybe?
They are Netherlands.
And like there's a lot of stuff they put on there is like that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Pretty much like I'm a huge lover of dessert, like beers, like dessert stouts and stuff like that. That's why I love this one so much. I mean, they're typically more, you know, higher calories. I think this one's like 150 calories. Not that calories is everything, but like it does sit in your stomach a little heavier. But a lot of those like crazy beers, I just like that's also what I miss about alcoholic craft beers, because you saw a lot more of that. You saw people trying to take risks. Like this can that I have that I bought, that's a candle. It was a what's it called? It was a New England IPA green beer. It was it's like Fruit Loops or something. But like you have these like crazy concoctions and stuff, which I like that the non-alcoholic industry is starting to embrace more of those options.
Yes, I think that's what I loved about Mash Gang, like when they started doing that sort of crazy shit, like the breakfast cereal range that they did. It's just like, this is wild. I didn't think this would ever exist. And weirdly, like because obviously things have changed a little bit for the guys at Mash Gang since the acquisition, and now it's like, right, we're building a really solid core range. So we do have kind of your staple beers that are really good. But I can't wait to see some more weird and wonderful shit that comes out from Mash Gang HQ soon, hopefully. Because some of the best beers I've ever had have been these super limited, like sub-box exclusive Mash Gang beers, but we're essentially just jawed, just pissing around. And it's just mad how one guy like that can just change the entire industry.
Yeah,
like, there was a period over here where you couldn't pick up a can of alcohol-free beer from anywhere and not see Mash Gang on the can somewhere. Because he would just give people his recipes, basically. Just be like, yeah, do it like this. Yeah, do it like this. And it's like everyone is just using that shit now. It's mad. It's mad. I can't think of anyone that deserves to have done so well from it more, to be honest, from those guys.
Yeah, 100%. You also did a collab beer with a brewery, right? Like, how did that come about? And like, did you feel? I've always wanted to do something like that, and like, but I just feel like How did you do that?
So I just straight up started like saying to people online, like, oh, we should do a collab beer, but kind of taking the piss out of them. Like, I'd just go out and design the can art for what our beer would look like. And it's like, look at this. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then when they'd tag them in the stories, I'd then like write a little message to them, just, the eye emojis. And just got no response. And then my mate Sam Ray from We Can Be Friends, I think they are making the best beer in the UK at the moment. The collab beer not included in that, because that would be bias. But I was kind of talking to him and I was like, I just want my name on a can, just for ego's sake, because it'd be fucking awesome. Like, yeah, and as a recovering alcoholic, because, I'm always recovering, never recovered. Like, just to then be like, I've got my name on a beer and I've done that through sobriety. That's pretty fucking cool. Like, I like that, and I really liked that kind of idea. And he was just like, yeah, I've got a beer going into tank soon. Do you want to jump on it? I was like, fuck yeah. Like, that'd be awesome. I was like, I've got nothing to offer, but I can come and be annoying. He was like, yeah, let's do that. And it was going to be a lager initially, but that failed in the tank, which was devastating. I say it failed. It came out at like 1%. And it was like, can't really release a 1% beer like with you on it, can we? I was like, it would be quite fucking funny. Like, put out a beer that I'm not going to drink. And like, but it affected the taste of it as well, because it was a lager. So like, with lagers, you can't really hide behind shit. You can't just dry hop it to make it better. But yeah, it just me nagging people and then someone taking pity on me is how that happened. As has been the case with like most things I've done, to be honest. It's just been me being like, hey, like, yeah. It's basically just me sending people the question mark emoji in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? I mean, some people seem to be game. Like you said at the start, we got into it at a good time. Like, I think we're very fortunate to have got into it when we did, and to have been able to watch it grow and to be a part of it growing. Because, I think in your case, you most certainly are. The things that you do for the industry, it's undeniable that you have impacted people, be that breweries, be that distributors, be that people at beer festivals or people online. I think what you're doing is really important, and I commend you for it and hope that you continue to do so.
Yeah, I mean that's the plan. Yeah, it's cool, and what you said, it's a lot of people are always saying like, how did you do that? How did you get to this festival? How did they invite you out to the brewery or whatever, stuff like that? It's just because like I asked. or I just jumped on and the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, opportunities. I'm a big believer that, if there's an opportunity that's presented to you and it like fits with what you're doing, do it. And then that'll just create more opportunities for you. Like, I hate flying. Flying is like one of my least favorite things in the world. But to get out to the conference last week, I needed to fly alone by myself for the first time. So I was, I told myself, I'm just going to do it, because I need to meet people at the conference and make more connections to have more opportunities. So it's just like one of those things. You just got to like be willing to do it, have the ability to do it, have the time, have the energy, have the passion. And it's like, it'll come if you just make the opportunities happen. You're going to get no's. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say, no, I don't want to send that beer, or no, we're going to pass on this opportunity, or, whatever it may be. But you just keep doing it, keep trying, really.
It's a mantra to live by. Thank you very much for coming and having this chat. It's been a pleasure to catch up properly and to have you on the podcast. It's nice to talk to people from across the globe with shared interests. It makes sobriety not seem so fucking lonely.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good talking to you as always.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Sober Boozers Club podcast. My name is Ben Gibbs. You can find me on all the socials at Sober Boozers Club. If you're interested in the American world of alcohol-free beer, you should definitely go and follow N.A. Brewskey, because he's going to be way more educated than I am, as he's probably just proven. So yeah, you go do that, and I will catch you very soon.